Hi, welcome to What the Flick. Good morning. It's an exciting day because there's another XXx movie out. Xander Cage is back. It's been what, like 12 years, 11 years, 12 years, 2005.
Well, since the Nicolas
one.
Cage, not sorry, Nicolas Cage, since the Vin Diesel one.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The
Ice
second
Cube, Nicolas Cage,
XXx
same
movie was like 11 years ago. Anyway,
I was thinking
it's
Xander
kind of
Cage.
like My Big Fat Greek Wedding too. You didn't think you wanted another one of these things, but here it is. And actually, you do want it, surprisingly.
It's a lot better than Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Oh, my good Lord.
Put that on the poster.
I'm Christy. That is Alonzo. That is Matt. That is Bibbs. We all sat and cackled with glee at XXx last night. Some of us did, at least.
rope
Some
me
of us.
into this.
Some of us had a good time. Bibbs is going to describe what it's about. Please take it away.
Hey, audience, you ever wanted to ski through a forest? You ever wanted to turn your motorcycle into a jet ski? You ever wanted to snipe Russians while doing aerial silks? XXx, The Return of Xander Cage. Let's check it out.
A device that controls every military satellite in the world has fallen into the hands of four very dangerous guys.
We need someone who can move like them, fight like them. It's time to be a patriot.
There are no more patriots, just rebels and tyrants.
He's back, and he's XXXer than ever.
Yeah.
This is actually the movie I wanted when I saw the original XXX. Because the original XXX is okay, but it was so convinced of its edginess that it kind of just wasn't very fun. It was just kind of pushy and I don't know. It made no impression on me. And then I saw this film, and it has so much entertainment value with just how cheesy and absurd it is. And it plays a lot like a Fast and Furious movie, at least what we've come to like from them. And I'm down with that.
It plays like an extreme sports version of James Bond. I mean,
Well,
like,
yeah, which
you
is what
literally...
that's what those movies. That's what the first one is, right? Like the first one wants to be this extreme sports version of James Bond. This one goes so much farther past that. Like it's this movie is almost the XXX version of XXX. Like it's.
It's like a parody of itself, though, but in awesome ways.
This
it knows
movie,
it.
Look, this movie is really stupid. Stupid, with two O's. Stupid, right? It absolutely is, but it kind of knows it. This made me think of The Rundown, right? The Rundown, which I really like. The Peter Berg movie with The Rock and Sean William Scott. And it's this similar, like, dopey, over-the-top action movie. Graphics on the screen at the beginning. This one's kind of the same way. Look, like this movie is shot very much for the hyperactive MTV crowd, or not even MTV.
Yeah, we don't even have MTV anymore.
And my
The
7-year-old.
YouTube crowd.
Not even the YouTube crowd. This is for a Snapchat crowd.
It's very silly.
Look, it absolutely
very silly.
It's very silly. It moves so fast you almost can't follow what's going on. You know what? That's kind of okay.
That's okay,
Like,
yes.
There's not a lot going on, really.
There's everything and nothing all at once.
This movie kind of answers the question, can you string a bunch of kind of fun, cool stunt sequences together and have a viable movie? Yeah, you kind of can.
Sure.
Now, I know Alonzo is sitting here stewing.
He's twiddling his thumbs. Look at his
I'm-
thumbs.
I'm-
Look at his thumbs.
I'm waiting for my turn.
Because
I'm not
it's,
saying anything.
You know, it's no bad Santa too. but-
Also, we should point out that Alonzo did not sit with us last night. We all
Right.
have a good time when we sit together. We sit all on the same side of the theater. Alonzo sat by himself.
I sat
on
with
the
Jenna
other side
Bush,
of the
who I had not
theater.
seen in months, and when I got there, there was a very limited reserved area that they kind of pushed us into, and then they opened the theater up, and y'all went to the other side. And
We saved seats for
I
you.
didn't want to be.
saved
I
you a
didn't
seat.
want to be
Rejected.
rude to Jenna. Meanwhile, this movie is hot garbage, and I can't believe how nice you're being to it.
enthusiastic.
It is shocking that a movie that is aimed at like attention deficit 12-year-olds can underestimate the intelligence of its audience, and that's what this movie does. It is so inane. I mean, in the first 15 minutes, this is how much Vin Diesel is creating this vehicle as a like, look how awesome I am. In the first 15 minutes, he steals cable to bring a soccer game to an impoverished Dominican village, and children everywhere love him and sing his praises, and he tells one that he carries the world in his heart.
Yes!
Within 10 minutes, he is in England fucking 8 women, despite the fact that he had a girlfriend back in Dominican Republic who we never hear from again. So it's like, oh, so you are Gamera friend to children and you're the sex machine to all the chicks. Come on.
Why would you question
Give me
him
a
at all?
fucking break
Why
with
must
this. This is. Oh God, this movie.
To quote you, he
Yes.
contains multitude. You enjoy that
It
phrase.
contains absences. And then poor Toni Collette, the one actual actor in this movie, spits out every line like she's furious with her agent, and she should be. You've got Tony Jaa, who's this amazing martial arts
given nothing to
performer,
do but dance.
given nothing to do, edited with such choppy, like quick cuts of everything that fucking Betty White could have played that role because he doesn't get to do like a complete motion without the editor giving us 4 different shots of it.
Listen, Betty White, I'll have you know, is a black belt in kicking ass.
And a treasure, I grant you.
And let's be honest here, that would be better if Betty White was in there.
Wouldn't it? Now,
I would have seen a Betty White action.
Triple W.
There it comes before. There is one
Triple
good.
X, the return of Betty White.
There is one good Donnie Yen action sequence late in the film, and by
On the plane?
yes, on the plane. But by this point, we have had to deal with like the wacky bad driver and the guy who's a DJ, and that makes him an integral
Rory
part
McCann.
of the team.
The Hound.
And like we finally get like a hot South Asian badass female character wearing like the most embarrassing hooker wear imaginable.
Well,
That's the Triple X
she's
aesthetic,
at
though.
a club. She's at a club, and there's a dress code.
Yeah.
The whole
She
movie's
has to
a club.
have thigh-high dominatrix boots on.
Male or female, you have to look as sleazy as possible in all of these
I
scenes.
do like there's the one guy on Xander Cage's team whose ability is fun to be around.
Yeah, that's the
That
DJ.
was kinda cool.
That's
Miss
the
Congeniality.
Right, so I was mentioning Rory McCann, who plays the Hound, is in this. He's the driver.
Yeah, but who was the Hound?
Game of
Hound
Thrones.
from
Okay,
Game of
I'm
Thrones.
sorry, I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
He's fun in this. Get to see him do some comedy, which we haven't really been able to see since the Edgar Wright movie,
Hot Fuzz.
Shaun
Hot
of the
Fuzz.
Dead.
I forgot he was in that.
Yarp. So he's, look, like this movie, like I said, is really stupid, and you're not going to this for the plot. And I think this movie kind of knowingly, like, it's gleeful about how dumb it is, and it's got just the right amount of attitude that it's kind of okay. And look, I get where you're coming from. Like, there were moments. It took me about 15 minutes to kind of be like, fuck it. Who cares? Like,
It took me
fuck it. Like,
it took me the skiing scene in the Dominican.
If this movie had just been about the action sequences, fine, I can go with that. It doesn't have to have a serious plot or characters or whatever. But even the action stuff, it's either like edited to a fairly well or so obviously green screened. Like when Donnie Yen
like that part,
and Diesel are fighting in the middle of the streets of Detroit and rolling around and cars are going around them, they've practically got an aura around them. Like you can totally see that they were never there.
That also the thing where the motorcycles turn into jet skis and they're surfing and they're like in a tube. You can
Right.
totally see how fakey fake it is. But I kind of appreciated that in a Sharknado way.
You know,
How about
how
when
intentionally
when
bad it is.
skateboarding Vin Diesel in the Dominican, like it's totally not even his face.
Oh, not at all.
It's like in Flashdance where the breakdancing Jennifer Beals has a mustache.
I gotta tell you, there's elements of this movie, and I guess this is where I'm kind of forgiving it, is that in another world, this script becomes the next Lego movie, right? Like, oh look, we got motorcycles that just ride on the water. Like, this is the kind of thing that like 10-year-olds, it's like 10-year-olds playing with toys, right?
And that's why my
You
kid
know,
liked
I'm
it.
a fan of a movie. I like when a movie takes a ridiculous idea and just completely goes all the way with it. And this movie takes this dumb idea, like, okay, what happens if you were to make Colin McRae or somebody like that, like extreme sports guys, make them
Super spies.
Like, okay, we're gonna throw way too much money and go way too far with this. All right, sure. Like they yes and themselves so much that I'm kind of okay with it. Like I'm along for the journey.
All of these things that Alonzo is complaining about, and they're valid criticisms, and arguing with that, but they're only valid criticisms if you don't think of them as selling points. And
I know. Are they bugs or are they features?
like this
I
is
know.
this is the best movie of its kind since Transporter 2 for me. Like, and I love Transporter 2.
It's
It
no
is over
White
the-
House Down.
Okay, nothing is White House Down.
All
White
right.
House Down is amazing.
Okay, just let's be clear.
Over the top, self-celebratory, ridiculous. That's a genre. I don't know if I'm mad about that because I don't go to see a movie called XXX: The Return of Xander Cage to not be pandered to.
I'll tell you, here's the thing. I think what we're zeroing in on, This is the movie that Suicide Squad should have been.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that did take itself more seriously. This knows it's dumb, and
Right.
yet it's pretty complicated. The big action sequences, jumping out of planes and whatever, we're tooling on the effects and the green screen. It's pretty elaborate and pretty complicated. So it's like complicated yet dumb at the same time, which is a tricky balance to pull off. And it moves really well, and it's silly, and I had a blast.
There's two big differences if you want to compare this to Suicide Squad. One is that Suicide Squad thinks that it's grimdark, and it didn't need to be. And whereas XXX manages to have all of these characters who operate outside of a norm, they refer to themselves as rebels, yada, 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 but we still like them, and they didn't have to be mass murderers. Although at least a couple of them are. But the other thing is that when you look at Suicide Squad, it's kind of the same action sequence over and over and over again, shooting a bunch of faceless CGI zombies and a helicopter crashes. That's it, over and over and over again. This movie, there is variety to this film, and yes, you can argue that it would have been cooler if everyone did their own stunts. I don't always expect that. What I expect is a tone that is consistent
No, I
enough
don't
to allow me
expect
to
that
expect.
people do their own stunts, but
Yeah.
don't make it this obvious that they aren't. You know?
Fair enough, but the thing is that it creates a tone of sort of Saturday morning matinee sort of action cinema, that sort of happy-go-lucky, not Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon-y kind of thing without the sci-fi, that allows me to accept it. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief because the movie doesn't seem mad at me for it. The movie isn't telling me this is important in serious business. The movie is saying this is about a bunch of extreme sports people who jump out of airplanes and do aerial silk sniping. And I'm like,
It's not even that.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not even
great.
that.
And
It's
if you like the Marvel movies, this movie lays on the references to them
Yeah.
with a trowel.
No, but this is the movie where it's like, hey, listen, you'll buy X Games guys as spies. All right, here you go. Like, bring it on. Like,
Sorry, I think the Marvel thing is a really good point to make, actually, because if you look at the original XXX, that movie opens with them killing James Bond.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
the whole point, is that all of this James Bond stuff
the
that
dude
we like,
in the tuxedo is not he's
Yeah.
not extreme enough.
exactly. So that's what we've kind of got here, is the XXX Return of Xander Cage, which is the first one with a team dynamic, is kind of XXX's response to the Marvel age of action movies, whereas the original XXX, perhaps ham-fistedly and not very well, was trying to take what was popular in terms of action and try to reinvigorate it. XXX Return of Xander Cage is like, hey, you know all those like big budget, cool, action-y things that take themselves a little too seriously? Here's a XXX version. I'm fine with that.
Yes. Now he has a team.
Yeah.
He's not a lone wolf.
I want to see more of that team. I liked the cast. They're fun.
If you're thinking about bringing your children, as I did, my kid was very curious about this movie. He was asking a lot of questions, like, Mommy, who is Xander Cage? Mommy, what are extreme sports? And now he knows there's a lot of language, there's a ton of gunfire. But again, it's a PG-13 movie, and so only like in one instance would I say, do you actually see blood as a result of
very
a
cartoony.
gunshot?
Yeah.
It's very
Very
silly, it's very,
cartoony.
very over the
Even
top.
like when Xander Cage has sex with 8 women, like it's one of those things where we cut to the next morning and they're all like lying around in their perfect lingerie.
Right. I mean, it's as dirty as a Victoria's Secret catalog.
That, yeah. So,
That sex
yeah.
scene makes no sense, by the way.
None.
No. It
Why
just-
can't he have sex with 8 women?
No, he can have sex with as many women as he wants, but like the setup to it.
Oh,
makes-
why she
like,
gives them to her?
Yeah, just like, here, take all of my production assistants. Just go ahead.
They've just
I'm
been sitting around their laptops all day. They're not doing
And,
anything.
and to,
Not
fi-
gonna
to
Oh,
have
find
fun.
information that he is that is withheld from him for no good reason anyway, but that's a whole
Yeah.
other thing.
Okay, so I had fun, and I'm giving it
Because it's cool.
I'm giving it a 7.8. I had a really good time. It's very silly. Go ahead.
Come back to me.
Okay.
It's really stupid. I give it a 6.
It's really stupid, and I'm giving it an 8. It's exactly what I wanted from this movie.
Alonso hates everything, and he doesn't like that fun. I give it a 2.5. Fuck this movie.
Okay, so that brings our average down to 6.1. And it's where
It's in the 70s
tomato
on the
land?
tomato meter right now.
Okay.
You are wrong, my friend.
Yes, wait till my review goes up. I'm going to
It's
drag
exact-
that number down.
It's exactly what you want it to be, for better or for worse. Bye.